Like, not like all of the building.
Alright guys, today will be what if Deku was Technoblade. Yeah, uh so Deku basically look like that. He would have pink hair, he would have pink eyes. No. He would have red eyes. So Deku would have pink hair, red eyes. It wouldn't be well, it would be kinda puffy, like it normally has, but it wouldn't be like all spread out, it would kinda be like well no, it would be straightened, his hair would be straightened. And his crown wouldn't be exactly like that. It would actually go around his whole head. Um, and he would actually wear the like normal like king's robe or whatever you call that, like that whole outfit. He'll wear that eventually. So I'm gonna say that when Deku is born, he his parents don't. When Deku is born, he looked kind of weird to them. Um, but that's it. But they eventually just lived with it, you know. They said it looked good enough and it was fine. Um, so when, but they're also expecting Deku to have a good quirk. So when Deku is 4, he they they take him to a quirk doctor and find out that Deku is quirkless, and this enrages both Deku's mother and father, and he is there in his life. Well, not anymore, because what they do is what you see a lot of on the internet, which is they get in the car and they drive to a cliff and they throw Deku off the cliff. They get in the car and go back in. And I'm actually say this right now. I'm gonna say that both his parents, I'm gonna say they work directly to the government, like actually directly to the government. Actually, I'm gonna say that his father will be coming. Will is the president. I'm gonna say that his father is. No, I'm gonna say his father. I'm gonna say he's royalty. I'm gonna say Deku is royalty, and his mother and father are king and queen. Yeah, that's it. And so, um, and then, and when the press started questioning them about where their child was, they didn't answer, and they just kind of left back to the little palace thing, whatever. So let's go back to Deku. Deku, he 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 survives the fall, of course, but then he kind of has a illusion, like a like like a delusion. That's a delusion. Um, and of course he's a little bit delirious. I mean, he's 4, and he went down a bloody cliff and survived. You know, he's not gonna be in the best mental state right now. He just won't be in the right mind. And he sees this thing, this man in all armor and sitting on a throne. He speaks. He says, Izuku Midoriya, today is not your time to die. I will help you as long as you give me blood. And Deku says, blood? What do you mean by blood? The man continues, kill a lot of people. And I say I'll keep helping you, make sure you can't die. And I help you with other things too. like combat, physical strength, how to make things, all that. Deku, being kind of naive, he accepts it. And when he accepts the deal, he kind of just asks the man who he was. The man simply said, "I am the blood god." And then Deku wakes up. He wakes up and is in great pain. But he also doesn't feel like he's dying. He looks around he feels his body and looks at it. He realizes that he's almost healed. Like, there are some scratches here or there, sure, but other than that, falling from a cliff, he's still almost healed. So he lives in the forest, for, oh god, how many years? Let's say, so he's 4 now, let's say, so he lives in the forest for 5 years. Yes, 5 years. He's in the forest for 5 years. And every time he slept, he would go to the blood god. And the blood god would teach him how to fight. Like how to use a shield and dodge and, sword, crossbow, bow, an axe, everything. Yeah, and they went on for 5 years. Eventually, one day, Deku came across a farm, and he met a farmer. The farmer remarked on how skinny Deku was, and proceeded to give him potatoes to eat. Deku only eating animal meat, and very rarely at that. I mean, still, he still kept extremely fit, because in his dreams he had to fight and practice combat with the blood god, and even when he wasn't doing that, he was also running and getting even more fit. So yeah, even though he ate a lot of animal meat, he still was extremely skinny. So, he consumed a lot of potatoes and realized how delicious they were and how different they were compared to meat. The farmer saw this in Deku's eyes and his face too, and remarked, "Have you not eaten a potato before?" Deku said, "No." The farmer said, "Where are your parents?" Now, I'm also going to give Deku a pretty good memory, so he does remember what his parents did to him, what that looked like, and what their profession was. What am I saying? The king queen. I wouldn't really call that a job. Or maybe it is, I don't know. I wouldn't exactly call it a job. Deku said they're dead. Because they weren't actually dead. They weren't. They were still alive. But to Deku, they were dead. They were dead to him. The farmer said, I'm sorry to hear that. If you want, you could live with me. And I can teach you how to farm and all that. And how to fish." Deku said no. He said no because he doesn't trust a stranger. Deku eventually said thank you for the potatoes and left. On his way out, he hears this voice saying, you should go back and learn from him. And when you learn from him, kill him. Now he has his voice and tries to block it out. But then another voice comes on saying the same thing. Another one. And eventually all these voices keep saying the same thing until he finally caves and gives in. So Deku finally went back to the farmer, knocked on the door and said, "Hey, I changed my mind. Can you please teach me your ways?" And the farmer said, "Of course, kid." So I'm gonna say Deku lived with him. But he lived with him and learned how to farm and fish for. Well, he should be 9 now, so. I'll make him 12. So for 3 years. Yeah, so for 3 years, he learned how to farm and fish. Now, one night, when Deku was positive that he knew how to farm and fish perfectly, one night, all the voices just came back saying, "Kill him, kill him, kill him, kill him." That's all he could hear. So eventually, he grabbed a knife from downstairs, went to the farmer, and killed him in his sleep. Techno went out to the garden, took a bunch of vegetables, including potatoes. They were Deku's favorite, after all. And went on his own little journey. The Blood God eventually thought of a way to do something cool, and that was to incorporate a fishing rod into fighting. And so Deku thought of kind of like a little bit of solution, and that was, if you've seen like Ghost Rider and know how like when he whips his chain, like he does like a full on like a circle with it above him, and then like grabs onto his enemies. It kind of happens with Deku, but except for going like one circle, kind of just like reels it to the target's like clothing by the ankle, and then he just like lifts them up and then does a circle, creating a few loops and making them all tied up. Yeah, so he learns that. Eventually, though, I'm gonna say he actually didn't. I'm gonna change a few things now, actually, because I'm really bad at this. I'm actually say he wasn't in the forest all alone. I'm gonna say he was raised by pigs. Yeah, so he was raised by pigs. Eventually he went away. He left. Blah blah, meet the farmer, blah blah blah. We've been to this part. So as he was walking away from the farmer's house, he thought of a way to I say he eventually made it to another part of the forest where that one was extremely close to the city, but not close enough for him. Well, no, I'm saying it was extremely close to the city. But the trees were like everywhere and really big, so you didn't really see it. It doesn't really look up much. So yeah, some say he sleeps for a few days, eventually trying to master this fishing rod thing in combat. And I would say he's got a decent idea of how to do it. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but I say it's a decent idea. Eventually, though, he hears these people were having a conversation about two people, two men, two guys walking up towards him. He wakes up to that, and then he hears the voices again. Kill, kill. But eventually, he hears a new voice in his head. It was the blood god. And should it be the blood god? No, it's not the blood god. It's just a random voice. But this voice was different. See, this voice, it sounded just like Deku. See, this voice wasn't in his head. He actually said it out loud. But he doesn't know why he said it. He whispered to himself, "Blood for the blood god," as he still kept the knife from the farmer. He was like kind of like sharpening it with like a rock, because I'm pretty sure he could do that. I don't know. And he kind of just sneaks away. What he does is he sneaks away. So he sneaks away, and it kind of appears behind them. When he does that, he quickly kicks one of the men behind the knee. You know, like behind the knee, there's like this weird thing like attaching like the bottom half of your leg, which is connected to your foot. It's like the upper half, like where the knee is. Yeah. So he kicks that in, eventually making one of the men on the ground, like kneeling. As he stabs it through his head, and as the other guy turns around to look at him, he kind of slashes his throat. Now, see, Deku, he feels something. It wasn't sadness, it wasn't disgust, it wasn't anger, it wasn't anything. He felt a little bit of enjoyment out of it, like a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. Eventually, that happened every now and then, where some hikers went into the forest and never came out. Eventually, some people called the cops, and the cops kind of found some bodies, because he kind of hides them. Yeah, so the cops found bodies, and they kind of called some heroes saying, "Hey, there are dead bodies here." And the heroes, they came, and they scouted around. I say Deku left the area. And he kind of wandered into town. Now see, Deku, he knew how to make, like, clothes, like, not actual clothes, but, like, you know in Demon Slayer, like, that one guy with the boar head, you know how, like, his, like, fur thing, like, his fur skin, I think it was, that kind of thing, yeah, so when that happens, yeah, so he's wearing that kind of thing. Deku is kind of muscular, not really, but a little bit. Yeah. So he walks into town, people kind of looking at him weird, but I don't really pay him much attention. Eventually, he leaves the city, and he kind of finds this little, this little village, that has a blacksmith. Now, this blacksmith is the best in all the lands, and he makes a decent profit out of it. So, yeah, eventually he basically does what the farmer did and asks Deku his appearance and all of that. Eventually leading him to say, if you want, I could adopt you. You could be my son. I could teach you the ways and the arts of crafting weapons and armor. Deku, realizing what an opportunity this is, he says yes immediately. Now, I'm gonna time skip again to... Oh god. So, he's 12 now. I'm gonna time skip to when he's... when he's 14. So, basically 2 years. He's 14 now. He's learned a lot on how to craft weapons and armor. So eventually he kind of just leaves. He kind of just leaves. He'll be back, but he kind of just leaves. And he finds his miner. This miner was, well, he was scared because there were some things in like a cave that he didn't want to deal with. He tried to get some guards to deal with it, but they didn't want to do it either. And just use an excuse. I would be leaving my post and leaving this town vulnerable, even though there were like 50 guards there. Like 1 or 2 wouldn't matter all that much. Like, this was like a medium-sized village, you know? It's a village that would definitely could get like 50 guards there, but it didn't really need it all that much. But that really had a lot of guards to spare. So yeah, eventually Deku sees the miner and walks up to him because the miner looks so distraught and sad. Eventually making him say, "Hello, sir. Why do you look so sad?" The miner tells him, like what's happening, and Deku says, let's make a deal then, right? I'll help protect you while you mine, do your business, and in return, you give me some of the ore in there. Now the miner, kind of in debt and knowing this is only an opportunity to get out of debt, says yes immediately. So Deku kind of, he steals some materials and makes himself a sword, a pretty good, like a decent sword, and a really little shield, like a little shield. Have you ever seen Goblin Slayer and like his shield? Yeah, like that. And so like he goes with the miner, and yeah, he protects him. And eventually the miner is done. And I must say, actually, that he has an iron sword and an iron shield. And I'll say he can make all iron stuff, but that's his extent until later. And eventually, I come to say, like, Deku, you see, Deku got some of the profit, like, well, not profit, he got some ore, which I guess could technically be profit as well, but he got some of the ore, and he got to choose what it was, but also, like, if it was, like, a big, like a very important, really expensive thing, he could only take, like, he could take less of what he can normally do. Like, I say iron was the like line there. Like iron was, you could take like 20 iron. He could take 20 iron, and that'd be fine. But the miner also dug up some diamonds, and the miner being kind of hesitant to give him diamonds, but also knowing that if that's what Deku wanted, he should be allowed to have it because that was the deal. He said, if you want the diamonds, then you can't have too much. And saying that the limit was like the amount of diamonds you could have. Saying the miner dug up. They said the miner dug up. Say the miner dug up 30 diamonds. The miner dug up 30 diamonds. Therefore, I'll allow you to have 10 diamonds. So that still leaves 20 diamonds for me. Deku accepts this, and he gets his 20 diamonds and leaves. Goes to his dad, the blacksmith, right now. I'm trying to say the dad. You know, he ain't gonna be there any much longer. Nah. Well, kind of. And he goes up to him saying, hey, I helped a miner out today, and he gave me 10 diamonds. Can you help me? Can you help me learn how to craft a few things with it? So he does, because I'm gonna say crafting with different, there's different ways to craft with different materials. And, yeah. And, yeah, and so Deku now knows how to craft a sword, axe, basically all the weapons, and knows how to craft a helmet and chest plates, and that's it with diamonds, because they ran out of diamonds. Even though, I'm pretty sure they went way overboard of how many diamonds they had. I mean, I don't know. Whatever, I'm just saying that anyway. And so that Deku kind of went to the mine and said, hey, can I have some more diamonds? If you don't have any right now, I could help you out again for you to get more diamonds. The miner says, no thank you, I've hired mercenaries to help me now. This angers Deku a little bit. And it starts to hear a faint whisper, whispers saying, kill him, get revenge, kill him. But it's only faint, so it doesn't really listen to them and blocks it out. He leaves, but right when he leaves, he sees these two men. These two men with a lot of scars on them. And I can't bump into them. When they do that, they were extremely rude to Deku and said, watch where you're going, kid. This angers Deku even more. The whispers start to get a little bit louder into kind of mumbling, basically. No, wait, mumbling's quieter than whispering, I think. I'm gonna say that they get to talking, it's just it's the same pitch as you would talking to someone. And Deku still kind of suppressing the urge to murder everyone. He kind of paid it no mind until he hears the miner say, alright boys, let's go out to the mine so I can get some more things. And that's where Deku turns around and sees the two guys, the two men who bumped into him in front of the miner. Then he pieces it together and says, So those are the two mercenaries. You should have been a little bit more nicer. I may have let you lived, but no more. I'm gonna say he went to sleep that night. They went to sleep that night, and there was this entity in front of him. It wasn't his usual visit from the blood god. It wasn't his natural training. It was this entity, this weird entity. He speaks, but in a slow way. Kind of infuriating, actually. He says to Deku, "You, child, have learned nothing. You, child, have learned nothing. Why, oh God, why are you constantly relying on killing people instead of using your head? Or even if you are just gonna keep killing people, why do you just keep stabbing them? Why not make something smart like traps and all that?" Eventually Deku says, "I don't know how to do that. I was never taught how to do that." And I'm gonna say that the one, like, that what Deku's talking to is the god of knowledge, say. And the god of knowledge says, "I will teach it to you, but it will not be free. What I teach you is basically how much you have to repay me. And I will teach you more than just setting up traps. I'll teach you way more. I'll teach you basically how to create traps. I will teach you a lot about literature. I will teach you directions like north, west, all that. I will teach you like Greek stories and all that, to teach you more of how to do things in life, like learn from their mistakes and give some wisdom." I'm gonna say he does that. And I'm gonna say that went on, because he's 14 now. I'm gonna say that went on for another year. Now, during this year, he did get his revenge and killed the miner and the two mercenaries. And he eventually found diamonds, and he learned how to create full diamond gear and all that. He then, since he is actually now smarter and all that, he eventually leaves. He leaves and goes to a palace. This is not his parents' palace, it's just another palace. It's just another kingdom. And he sees this weird prince. No, he sees this king. Now, see, this king, I'm gonna say that this king was not loved very much. He was a terrible king, and so people already like hired like assassins to kill him. And they already had, like, I'm gonna say it's left, and the king already had like a son to be like a replacement, which would have been a better ruler. But I don't know, this kingdom won't really make an appearance all that much in the story. So I'm gonna say that Deku, he finds an interest in the clothing, and so he what he learned from the god of knowledge is he will lure the king in, like, he will like stalk the king. He'll stalk the king for a little bit, see what he's into, and all that, and he'll lure the king in with that, and set up a trap in his quarters. in his sleeping quarters, and he kills the king off in his own bedroom. He steals his clothes and crown, and he leaves. He leaves without anyone seeing him. He eventually goes back to the city, where his parents kind of, well, they're not royal anymore. They've been dethroned. No, they haven't been dethroned. Well, kind of. With the existence of heroes now taking over the city, and now there's a lot of heroes and a lot of villains. Basically, the main story now, like the actual story in the actual anime and manga. That's basically it now. That's the city now. I say his parents, his father Hisashi, he had his quirk is his quirk is to temporarily erase someone's memory. So there will the person's memory, the person will still remember some things, kind of valuable information, but they won't remember a lot of things. And his mother, Inko, her quirk is zero gravity. I'm gonna say Inko's quirk is zero gravity. So they eventually become heroes, and I'm gonna say that there actually is a course for adults to become heroes, so that they don't have to go through high school. Yeah, and so they're now heroes, and I say that Hisashi is the number 4 hero, and Inko is the number 6 hero. So they're pretty well known and liked, but not the top 3. And Deku kind of got caught wind of this, And also, I forgot to mention that a god of knowledge also gave him the knowledge of the nether and what was in it, and also the end and what was in that. So he also knows what the what was it? Hold on. What the what netherite is. He knows what netherite is, and he kind of wants that. And he knows how to make the portal as well, to go to both the end and nether. I'm gonna say he can actually go to the end, but there will be no mobs to help him with it. So there'll be no endermen, no nothing. Because I'll say there will be an alternate way to go there. I will not say what it is, though. I will say it later, in a different episode. So, yeah, so, wait, where was I going with this? I should actually probably write a script, that'll be so much better. Oh well. Yeah, so I say Deku caught wind of this and realized that there was a new government in charge, and instead of having kings and queens, there was a president. And he eventually learned the president's name, and the president's name, his name was well, Oh, okay, hold on. Before I do anything else, I'm gonna say that he had one biological brother, and one biological brother and two adopted brothers, which were Wilbur, Tommy, and Tubbo. No, actually, I'm gonna change it a little bit. He had 3 adopted brothers. Yeah, he had three adopted brothers and 1 related brother. His related brother was So he had 2 biological brothers and 2 adopted brothers. His biological brothers were Wilbur and Dream, and his adoptive brothers were Tommy and Tubbo. Yeah, so and they actually did know Schlatt growing up. Like, they did know Jay Schlatt growing up. They did. They were actually quite great friends. And Jay Schlatt was always the most funny one in the group. Every time they hung out. I'm gonna say that they were all smart, like incredibly smart, for their age. Like, for the age, they had the intelligence. Like, from the age of 3, they had the intelligence of a 6-year-old. I'm gonna say that. Dream, on the other hand, at the age of 3, he had the intelligence of a 7-year-old. So, like, he was smarter than the other ones, the other kids, but also kind of not by much at the same time. It was weird. So, they all had fun playing together and growing up. Eventually, alright, I'm gonna actually explain, because everyone there, I'm gonna say everyone but Deku had a quirk. So Wilbur, his quirk was, I'm gonna say his quirk was insanity. See, he would just be a normal person, but the more stressed out he'd get, the more insane he got. But the more insane he got, the more powerful he got. For Dream, he actually had two quirks. His quirks were intelligence and parkour. Well, you know why? Because with Dreams, if you've seen like his bloody manhunt videos, you'll see why. For Schlatt, I say his quirk is manipulation. It can manipulate anyone he wants. But doing that, it depends like what kind of lie he has, like what kind of manipulation. And what kind of drawbacks it has. If it's like small manipulation, like a lie, like a normal lie, I'll say it has like almost no drawbacks. But if it's like, becoming president and convincing people to throw out to people, I say that's I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say that it makes his head incredibly sore, to the point where it makes him tired. But also makes his tongue it feels like his tongue feels like it's burning, like it's about to set on fire. I'm gonna say that. Tommy's quirk is I say his one is a weirder version of President Mike's quirk, where you can scream it really loud, but you'll assume like it's normal, like a normal You seem like it's normal, but what you don't know is that when he does it, oh God, when he does it, he makes his way straight to the brain. You know, he just sounds like a normal person. You know, it's literally just Tommy. Just you can hear Tommy's voice, in the SMP, and you'll know what I'm talking about. It's literally the same thing. But see, his voice goes straight to the brain, like his victim's brain, and it kind of just like it kind of messes with the brain a little bit, so they kind of like unfocused and they can't really think straight at all, no matter how much they try. In fact, when they try more and more to focus, it just gets worse and worse. And I would say he can't really use this all the time. He can only use it like once up to 3 times a day. No, like, you know, he can only use it once a day, but he can buff it up to 2 times. But if he does like 2 times a day, then he will eventually pass out from exhaustion. Tubbo's quirk. Ooh, his quirk. Okay. His quirk is I don't know that much about Tubbo. I can't really do this. I'm gonna say it's 2 quirks. No, I'm gonna say it's 1. His quirk is likeness. See, the more likeness he has, the more powerful he gets. Yeah, it's basically kind of like, it's basically Wilbur's quirk, but flipped on its head. Yeah. So, yeah. So when he walks into the city, he sees that the president is. Should I make it Schlatt? Should I make it Wilbur? I don't know. I'm doing this all without a script, and it's already like 47 minutes long. I'm gonna say it's Wilbur. Wilbur is the president, and all the people love him. Now this will make Deku kind of like the government, only a little bit though, because he still remembers that his parents were the king and queen, and how they just abandoned him just for the fact they didn't have a quirk. Now see, actually, should I make Dream have 3 quirks? No. I'll replace I'll replace 1 quirk Dream had, and that was the parkour quirk. I say he doesn't have that. I say he just learns parkour. I say that Dream. What was the other one? I said Dream had. It was. I don't know. So yeah, 2 quirks. I forgot what the other one was. We'll remember soon. But I will replace the parkour quirk with actually a manipulation quirk, where you can only convince. He can convince how many people he wants. However, the people he's manipulating has to be incredibly damaged in any way, like mentally, emotionally, or physically. They have to be damaged, but it mainly works with emotionally and mentally. But yeah, yeah. And yeah. Alright, so I replaced that. So when Deku finds this out, he tries to see Wilbur. And he does. He goes up to where Wilbur is, because he was outside at that point. Wilbur was outside, and he says, "Hello, Wilbur. It's been a long time." Wilbur turns around and sees this guy. This guy is you know, he's kind of buff a little bit. You know, he has some abs, but he's also wearing a robe, and he just looks like a king with red eyes and pink hair. Basically, that's just him. And Wilbur says, "Do I know you?" And Techno is a little bit hurt by this, but you know, he understands that it's been a long time, and he looks so much more different than when he did when he was 4. So he says to him, "Wilbur, it's me, Deku." Wilbur then remembers Deku, and says, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry I didn't remember you. Have you been? What happened?" Because, no, actually, not what happened, because I say they were in the car. Actually, no, yeah, I'll say they were in the car, but I'm going to say that they kind of blocked out the memory of their parents throwing him off a cliff, because it was too much for them to handle and process. So, I didn't remember that part. So yeah, what happened? Like, how are you? What happened? And Deku says, "Do you not remember?" Wilbur says no. Deku says, "Mom and Dad threw me off a cliff when I was younger because I didn't have a quirk." Wilbur, taken aback by this a little bit, and remembering that his childhood was nice, you know, it was a pretty good childhood. But actually, no, wait. Ooh, should I make his parents look? Yeah, actually, yeah. So his parents are still alive, yeah. I'm say that Wilbur's life actually wasn't good. Wilbur's life was pretty bad. He had a quirk, sure, but people keep saying it was a villainous quirk and saying that he's evil. He's going to turn out like a villain because of his quirk. And even his own parents said that. So eventually, Wilbur snapped back, and he went slightly insane for a little bit. And he beats everyone around him almost to death. The principal was called. Oh no, his parents were called by the principal, and he was beaten that night, and then he was thrown off in the street, disowned and disgraced. That's when this man with yellow hair, blue eyes, and wearing like a bucket hat with green and blue stripes on it. No, green and white stripes on it. He says to Wilbur, or the child Wilbur, what happened? What happened to your clothes? What happened to your face? What happened to you? Why are you crying, little small child? Goddamn. Wilbur explains the whole story and what happened to him, and also explains his concern to what will happen with his brothers as well. And I'm gonna say like Deku is the oldest, and Wilbur being the second oldest. Tubbo being the third oldest, and then and Tommy being the youngest. Oh, I forgot about Dream. Dream. I say Dream is the same age as Wilbur. Yeah, this seems right. Dream is the same age as Wilbur. Yeah, and then Wilbur says to everyone, I'm gonna go now. I'll see you all tomorrow. And he says to Deku, follow me, we need to have a talk. And he leads him to the man with the blue and white striped bucket hat. And he says, this is my adoptive dad, the one who raised me and taught me how to play guitar. He is a good guy. You can trust him, because I trust him with my life. Deku is still a bit skeptical of meeting this person. Wilbur knocks on the door, and the man, he opens the door and sees Wilbur and another kid. Oh, and another guy, because I wouldn't really say he's a kid. I mean, he's like, yeah, he's an age, like he's a teenager, but it's just not really a kid. And sees another person about the age of Wilbur. Yeah, about the age of Wilbur. And says, hello, Wilbur. Hello, stranger. As he jokingly said. Wilbur says, Dad, this is my long-lost brother. As this man, his river smile and slowly fades into a confused look. Long-lost brother, what do you mean by that? Wilbur explains the whole story, and the man gets a little bit angry, because he knew that, like, Wilbur's parents were awful, but not that awful, to basically commit a crime. They committed a crime, attempted murder. That was that. They committed a crime, which was attempted murder. Also, child abuse and everything. They did a lot of crimes in their life, I guess. Still pretty good heroes, but a lot of crimes. I guess kind of like, it is actually, is it like, did it do worse than Endeavor? Was One Piece worse? I say it was. It was way worse. Because while Endeavor pushed his firstborn child to become a villain, Inko and Hisashi pushed their firstborn child to be an anarchist and hate the government. So I say it was worse. So yeah, the man introduced himself to Deku as Philza, but you can call me Phil. Deku said the same thing. But well, actually no, he said, I'm gonna say that people, I'm gonna say that people just called, like, Deku T for some reason. Just because he didn't say his name, like he never said his real name to anyone. But for some weird reason, people just said they looked like a person with, like, his first letter of his name to be T. So people just called him like names that start with a T. Yeah. So Deku just saying, hi, just call me T. And that's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, that's what I said. Philza being a little bit confused of why this is, but chooses not to push. Like, chooses not to push more to get even more information out of him. said, he says, welcome, to, whatever, I'm just gonna keep calling him Deku. Welcome, Deku, to my home. If you need anything, please come and get me. Yeah. As Phil kind of just leaves and goes to the kitchen, where he's washing dishes. Deku turns to Wilbur, and says, why did we come here? Wilbur simply put it, as, I wanted you to see that not all adults are terrible, and that you can actually trust some of them. Deku kind of surprised, because it's like he saw, like, it's like Wilbur saw what Techno was doing in his life. And that was basically just using someone to get more knowledge, and then just killing them and going off without any second thoughts or doubts or basically any morals pulling him back. Yeah. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. Wilbur actually kind of had a little bit, like he knew a little bit of this, like not exactly what happened, but he could just kind of read it on Deku's face a little bit as soon as he said that. Like as soon as he said that not all adults are untrustworthy and all that, he could read it on Deku's face that he's done something bad to adults in his life, and that kind of worries him. But he doesn't tell Philza. He doesn't tell him, because he's afraid that if he does, then he'll shun Deku away, call him a monster and all that, and they'll drive Deku to go on a mass murder spree and just start hurting a lot of people, killing them, making the whole city fear him, Eventually, like, heroes to hunt him down and try to put him to justice. And that will also lead to a loss of many good heroes. Also will put Deku away in bars for a long time, so he wouldn't even see his brother ever again. So he thinks the worst of a lot of things, but like at the end of the day, yeah. I mean, I would too if my brother was abandoned and I never saw him when I was 4. Yeah, like we were really close, and like we never saw him ever again. Like I'd probably think the worst. I wouldn't want him to leave. So yeah, yeah. So he doesn't tell Philza his suspicions of what he's done to adults. He doesn't actually know what he's done. He just knows that it's not anything good. And that's it. See you guys next part. Goodbye. I've run out of ideas. Goodbye.